This conference will now be recorded.
Well, okay, guys. We'll start the today's session. So yesterday, we have discussed about the introduction about the TypeScript. What is meant by the TypeScript and what are the different features available in the TypeScript. And we have seen the how to install the TypeScript compiler and like how to write the basic program in the TypeScript. So in this today's session, we are going to discuss about the variables and uh, data types in TypeScript. So basically, if you take any language, any language, variables and data types are very important, and these are the fundamentals. If you take any programming language, we'll see how to create the variables and how to assign the different data types to the variables in the TypeScript. Guys, do you have any idea about the variables in the JavaScript? Guys, am I audible? Karthik and Vijay, are you able to hear me? Okay. So basically, now we'll see the definition of the variables. So variables are containers containers which are used to store the uh, data values. So here, variables are the containers which are used to store the data values. So basically, for example, I just want to store one value called, for example, welcome to Monica IT Solutions to the one variable. So I'm just going to store the text. I mean, whatever the text, like I told you, right? Monica IT Solutions. Like we are going to store that variable. Store that text to the one variable. So variables are mainly used to store the data values. So once if you define and once if you assign the values to the variables, in the later point, we can access those variables using that variable name. So we'll see the a simple syntax of the variables. I mean, how to create the variables in the TypeScript. So first, we'll be starting with the var keyword. So if you want to create the variable in the TypeScript, first we should use the var keyword. So next, we should use the identifier. So when here we have discussed as variables are containers, right? So whenever if you want to reaccess or if you want to reuse that variable, no, so it should have the valid name. So for example, here I will take this as a first name equals to, I'll take it as a Karthik. So this is the basic syntax of the variable. For example, I have just taken var keyword, and this is the identifier. I have given one name to the variable. So var first name equals to, so equals to is mainly used to assign the value. I just want to store the this Karthik string to the first name. So that's why I'm using the equals to. So var first name equals to Karthik. So this is, this first part we can consider it as a declaration, like the var first name, and after equals to, I have given as Karthik, right? So we can consider this as a assignment. So this is the basic syntax to define the variable. I can write the syntax here. Var uh, and next one more thing, can consider identifier equals to value. This is the syntax, and this is the example. So in JavaScript, basically, like we have the two types of the variables. So one is the local variable, and we have one more thing is global variable. So basically, local variables are so whenever if you define the variables inside a function or inside a block, so we can be able to access those variables only that particular function only. So we can't access the variables like outside the function. So those variables are called the local variables. Global variables are like we'll be defining in the like top of the I mean JavaScript file or TS file. So it can be accessible to the entire file. So local variable so we'll be defining inside a function, inside a function or like a block. So we can able to access only in this particular function only. Like we can't access the local variable like outside the function. Like anyhow, like we'll see one example with the like difference between the local variable and the global variable. So this like will be defining like on we'll be defining on top of JS file or like TS file. Like we'll be defining like at the starting point or like it will be defining in the globally where we can able to access this particular variable. Like let me show you the examples. I mean difference between the local variable and the global variable by writing the small code. I'll take, I'll do one thing like I'll take one more file. Uh, I'll create one more file with the data types. I'll take the type as TS. So let me create a small variable. Like for example, var first name equals to uh, Karthik. So I'll try to access through this console console.log first name. So we have just defined one variable like var and the I mean identifier name or like variable name I have given as a first name, and I'm assigning one value to it like first name equals to Karthik, and that too like I have provided in the double quotes because like I mean it's a string type. So I mean here I have not defined the any type. So but like I just want the name should be in the string. That's why I have given the double quotes. We can use the single quotes also here. So console.log first name. This we can define like I mean where first name equals to this we can consider it as a global variable. For example, I will define one more function function greet. So this is the I mean if you want to define the function, so we'll be using the function keyword and followed by the function name. For example, function greet. I'll define one variable like uh, greet message equal to hello good morning. So like I'll try to access this variable console.log uh, greet message, and I'll try to access this one console.log first name also. I'll write here like console.log now first name and the greet message also. See like here you can see that if like if you write the same code in the JavaScript like here I mean we won't get any error like I mean it will execute and later like it will throw like the I mean output value for this greet message. Here you can see like can't find the name greet message. So let me explain one more thing. So I have defined one variable called the first name equals to Karthik, So we can consider this as a global variable. So I have defined in the top of the this ts file, so it will be available to the entire I can able to access this particular variable in this function greet, or I can able to access the outside the function also. So this is called the global variable. And whereas I have defined one more function called like function greet. So inside the function, like I have defined var greet message, and if I'm trying to access the inside the function, no, we can able to do it because we have defined inside this function. So this is called the local variable. So if I try to access the same, whatever the variable I had defined in the function, in the outside, like outside of the particular function. So I am getting there. Like let me save this one. Let me save and let me compile this type ts file to JavaScript. Let me open command line. So tsc, and we need to provide the file name, right? Datatypes.ts. See here we can see it is not converted to the JS file also, because we have the issue with this variable. I can't find the name greet message because this was defined locally, but I'm trying to access outside the particular function. That's why it is throwing the error. I'll show you. Let me comment this one. So let me run this one. tsc datatype.ts. So it is converted to the datatype.js. Here we can see datatypes.js. Let me add this datatypes dot this file in index.html, so that we can see the output. I have just taken like one index.html with basic syntax doc type and head section and the body section. So inside the body section, let me add JS file by using the script tag. Script src equals to datatypes.js. So let me open this file in the browser. So now I'll open the console, to check the console message. Here we can see the Karthik. Why we should get this second console also, right? Oh, sorry. We can able to see this message like the global variable. Here, I have defined the function, but I have not called this particular function. That's why I didn't get these two console logs. Let me call this one greet. So we'll be calling this function by using the function name. Let me convert once again. So I'll refresh this page to get the latest changes. Yeah, here we can see we got the first it got executed a function hello good morning, and we got the both the consoles, and next we have one more console in the global level, right? So we are getting this one. So what I'll do was I'll write this one inside the JS, this one, this console.log greet message is there, right? So copy, and I'll go to datatypes.js. Here I'll uncomment this one console.log. We'll see what happens. So let me refresh this page. See here we got greet message is not defined. So that particular variable was not defined globally. That's why we are getting the error in the console. So this is the basic difference between the local variable and the global variable. I think this is clear, like, I mean, defining the variable and a difference between the local variable and the global variable. So next, like, we'll see, like, we'll move to the, like, some more features provide. I mean, some more features, like we have the variables. So TypeScript provides the optional uh, static typing into variables. So basically, like, I mean, whatever the variables we are going to define in the TypeScript, right? So we can provide the optional type. I mean, sir, what is meant by the, I mean, optional static typing? For example, let me take uh, var marks equals to 100. So I mean, this variable we can consider it as a optional static typing. So basically, I mean, what I was doing was here, like, I'm not going to define any type to it. So this is called like the optional static typing. So first of all, like, we'll see, like, what is meant by the static typing. So in the, it will provides the TypeScript provides the optional starting type to the variables, right? So basically, we have the two different typing. So one is the static typing, and we have the uh, dynamic typing. Sir, what is the difference between the static typing and the dynamic typing? So static typing. So whenever if you define the I mean, type to the any variable, so it will be considered as a static typing. Static typing. So in the static typing, what happens was, whenever if you define the variable variable with the type, so once if you define that type, so we can't assign any other values to that. So whenever uh, if you define type to the variable, we can't assign other data types to variable. For example, like, I'll be defining var marks equals to I'll define its type as a number. So I have defined its marks type as a number. So I mean, whenever if we're trying to reassign the other data type values, for example, marks equals to some string or some boolean value, so it will not acceptable. It will throw the TypeScript compiler will throw the error. So this is called the static typing. So whenever if you define any type, so we can't change, or like, we cannot assign values to, like, other values to the particular variable. Let me see you through example. Where marks, I'll take its type as a number by using the type annotation. Marks equals to 100. And like, what I will do was, like, marks equals to 100, or like, I mean, marks equals to true. So here what I was trying to do was, like, I was trying to assign the other data types. So I have defined it's the data type as a number, and next, like, I'm trying to assign the other data types. So like, here, once if I hover on this marks, right, so we can see, like, type string is not assignable to the type number, because, like, we have defined its some type should be number, but later, like, we are going to reassign its value with the string. That's why, like, it is throwing the error. So this is called the static typing. So once if you define the number, I mean, once if you define the data type, we can't change the its values to the, like, other data types. So this is called the static typing. So TypeScript provides the optional starting typing. Optional starting typing means we can define the data type, or we can ignore it. For example, I'll just remove this data type. So so this is called the, I mean, optional data typing. Like we have not defined any type to this one, so this is called the optional data typing. So next, like what is meant by the dynamic typing. So dynamic typing, like it allows, like whenever if you define any type, I mean, whenever if you define the variable, we can able to define the any kind of value, so it can be anything. Like let me say, like var first name, like var name equals to Srinivas, or it may be like var name equals to 100. Here basically, like we are doing the TS file, right? That is why, like it is throwing like, or like in the TS compiler itself, it is throwing the error. Whereas if you take in the JS file, it won't throw error. Like it will execute, and later, like we can have the latest value. Let me show you in the JS file. Var name equals to Srinivas, name equals to 100, and name equals to true. Let me try to access this one. Console.log name. We'll see like what happens. See, we can see like we got the latest value, because like here, I mean, we have overridden, like by default we have defined the variable with the name with the string value. Later, like I have changed it to the number. Again, like I have changed it to the Boolean. So that's why, like it means the variable got updated and we are getting the latest value. So this is called the, I mean, dynamically, because that's the dynamic typing. So this is the basic difference between the static typing and the dynamic typing. So TypeScript provides the optional static typing to the variables. So I mean, if you don't want, like we can ignore the typing. But like in real-time scenarios, like it is good to provide the typing. The main intention of the TypeScript was like uh, to provide the type checking to the variables. I mean, to ignore the conflicts between the, I mean, data we are going to assign to the variables. So whenever if you are going to define the variables in the TypeScript, right, it is good practice, or like it is mandate. I mean, it is good practice to define the its type to the variables. So this is the difference between the like static typing and the dynamic typing. I mean, any doubts on this too?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So next, like we'll move to the data types. So I mean, variables are the stored containers, right? So I mean, what is meant by the data types? So data types, like which will helps the variables, like I mean, data types will tell the, like what kind of the data we are going to store, like what kind of the data we are going to store in the variable. For example, we have just seen it, like var marks equals to I mean, var marks colon number equals to 100, right? So here we can call this as a data type. So here, I mean, we are telling, like we are informing the variables, boss, like I am storing the one variable with the data type as a number. So data types provides the what kind of data we are going to define the variable, like what kind of the data we are going to, I mean, what kind of the data type we are going to uh, define for the variable. So basically, like in the JavaScript, we have the different data types. Like we have string, number, Boolean, undefined, null, we have object, we have array, and we have the function. So like these are the like different data types available in the both like TypeScript and the JavaScript. So still like we have I mean few more data types added in the TS like tuple, enum, any, void. So like these are the different data types. Like we'll see like examples for like each and every data types. So basically in the Java, I mean these tuples, enums, and any void, like I mean any, like these are not available in the JavaScript, but like these are added in the TS file. So first like we'll start with the string. So where city name, I'll consider this as a string, right? So we are going to define the variable with the string data type. So string equals to Hyderabad. So here, like, I mean, why we are getting the I mean, error here means like I'm just trying to define the variable in the JS file. So because the JS, like, it won't support this types, right? So I'll remove from here and I'll paste in the TS file. So city name string, and I'll define like so this is the like data type with the string. Now, like for example, I'll define with the numbers like where like student marks is equals to 70. So I'll provide its type as a number. Try to access with these two like console.log city name, console.log student marks. So let me convert this TS to JS file. So it is converted. Let me refresh this index.html file. So we can able to access those two values in the console, like the I mean city name and the student marks. So like this is the like, basic data type in the I mean basic string data type example. So next, like we can define this string with the single quotes also, like it will works. So we can define with like this also. So like in the I mean TypeScript or JavaScript, like we have I mean lot of string methods. Do you have any idea about the string methods?
Yes, sir. Slice, push, pop, shift, unshift,
No, like those are
characteristic.
like I mean like push pop you told, like those are like array methods. This I mean characterate and I mean concat and like index of and replace,
Index of
like these are the I mean string methods. For example, let me show you like
trim.
I'll
That
take one
trim
system
also
string
it's
method.
there. Trim
Sorry.
method.
Yeah,
Trim method.
trim method. Yeah, correct. So let me like I mean here like I'll show you like I mean few basic methods which are having in the string. So I mean I just want to convert this string to the uppercase or like lowercase. We can use like city name dot to uppercase. So we'll see the output. So like we have the I mean two uppercase and like two lowercase. So I'll repeat here. Let me store this in another variable like let city console.log city console.log city. Yeah, we can see like, I mean, we have converted, but like we haven't stored to the like any variable. That's why like we didn't get the, I mean, or no, previously we didn't get the output. So now like this is the one method like, and like we have the, I mean, index of like, I'll write the like all I mean variable, I mean different variable methods here. Uh, city name dot index of, I mean, I just want to find the, I mean, index of R. So I'll just give the letter R, let index console.log index. Like we'll define one more thing like we'll define one more method character at. I mean city name. I'll change the method name as
Caret.
yeah caret. So I'll just give the position like I just want to find the character at the fourth position. So console.log char. So we'll run this and we'll check. Yeah, it was compiled. Let me refresh this one. Yeah. Here we can see like so I mean we got this the first value was like this one. First console was like this position of the R, like basically the index starts with a 0, right? 0 1 2 3 4, so it will return output as a 4. So next like I mean we have given the like we're trying to find the character at the fourth index, so I have given the value as a 4, right? So it returns the value as a R. So in the similar way like we have the I mean lot of methods like, I mean, uppercase, lowercase, and character at and the, I mean, index of, and I mean whatever you told like trim, and we can do the like substring. So like these are the different methods in the string data type. So next like we'll move to the number data type.
Sir,
Let
here I have one doubt,
yeah
sir.
yeah
Like,
tell me
why
Karthik.
can't we variable city? Why did you use the only let city, sir?
We can use var also, no problem. But like for simplicity, like I have used the let. I mean, we'll see the like differences between the, I mean, var and let in the upcoming sessions. And like I will explain the, like in which scenarios we need to go with the let, or in which scenarios we need to define the variables with the var. We can define with
Okay,
var also, no problem. It will work.
okay, sir.
So like basically let provides the block level scope. Like there are like a lot of differences between the let and var. So like we'll discuss in the upcoming sessions, Karthik. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I mean, let me comment these things. So now like we'll move to the number data type. So I mean, let me define few numbers like var. I mean, first number. So the data type should be number equals to 1 to 3. So this is the like one way of defining the number, and we can define like var second number, the number types. So it can be like 10.87, where third number. So I'll assign type as number equals to, we can define the numbers with the hexadecimal also. For example, 3 to f. So like we'll try to access the same number. Like we'll try to access those in the console. Console.log first number. So let me copy paste instead of typing. Second name, also second number and third number. This way, like we can define the number data types also. So whenever like our application requires like if you want to store the numbers, so we can simply define the var and the variable name and the data type is number, and we can assign the different values. This is I have just defined the. This is the we can consider an integer. This is the floating point number, and this is the hexadecimal value. So let me run this one. Yeah, here we can see like 1 2 3, 10.87 and 815. So because the value of this, I have taken some random hexadecimal value, so this value is equals to 815. So this is all all about the number data types. So next, like we will move to the other data type called Boolean. Example, where is present. Boolean.
Sir, like, are there any methods we are using in real time in the on the number, sir?
Karthik, like we have the like a few methods. Like if you want to convert number to integer and number to string, string to the number. But like most of the times, like we don't use the any methods, Karthik. In real time, like in rare scenarios, like will be for example, if I'm getting the value as a string from the backend, if you want to convert to the number, like we'll be using the methods like two string or like two integer kind of methods. So but like very rare, like we don't use any methods and numbers.
Okay, sir, like the have one dot like two string two integer and then parse into parts. There is there one method, sir. Like what is the difference?
Parsing, like yeah, it will pass the it will be pass the string to the integer.
Okay.
Yeah, we can use that parsing for string.
Okay, sir.
Two string is like if you want to convert the object to the two string, so number to the two string, so we'll be using the two string method.
Okay, sir.
So like we are at the Boolean state. So where is present, or like sorry guys, I lost the audio for like 5 seconds.
Okay, sir.
So like is movie released. So Boolean equals to false. If you want to check the some conditions kind of thing, so we'll be using the Boolean data types. So if you want to write like if this particular condition is true or false, so in those scenarios, like we'll be using the Boolean data types. So let me copy this one and let me print this values also, where is present. So like this is the like I mean we have just written the examples for the number and boolean. Let me run and we'll go through the other data types next. Yeah, we can see like I mean we have I mean we can get the like it's a values as a true and false. Like boolean it will be having the either I mean true or false. Like we can consider as a value if it is the true means we can consider the value as a one. If it is the false means we can consider its value as a zero. Like we don't have nothing. So this is the like boolean data type. So next like we'll move to the array. So I mean what is an array in JavaScript? So basically arrays are mainly used to store the I mean similar set of values or like if you want to store the multiple values no so we'll be using the arrays. For example, let me take where city1 equals to HYD uh, where city2 equals to Bangalore where city3 equals to Pune. So basically, I mean, if you want to store the like these kind of values, so it is very difficult. I mean, very difficult to create the more number of variables. That's why, like, to avoid this problem, so we have the concept called array. Like, it's one of the data type. So where we can store the multiple values, and we can assign that array to the single variable. So let me create one array. So where cities equals to like I mean what are the values I have given, right? I'll give like this: Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune. So here like I mean I have not given the any type. So if you want to add the type to this city, no, so like we'll be using the colon string. I mean because it's an array, right? That's why like I have given as a square brackets. So here we have defined the cities array should contain the only string values. For example, if I give I mean one more number like 10, like because I have defined this type should be string, but I have added one more value with the number. So that's why it is throwing the error. So I mean if you want to define the like the same similar kind of thing, like we'll be using the this type as a string. If you I mean if you don't want to I mean if you want this array to be like mix up like all the data types like the string number and the boolean, so we can ignore this one. We can so it will work, sir. But like I mean I just want both like string and number, and I want the number I mean I want the data type also. So for that like we have one more option, like we can define those type of arrays also. So let me delete this one, and for example I want where numbers the type should be number equals to 10 comma 11 comma 12 comma 13. So here for example if I try to add some abc, see here you can see like we are getting the error because like we have defined arrays type should be number. So let me remove this value. Or I mean this is the one way, and we can define another way also, like let me copy the same thing where city list, we can assign the type this way also, like array string. So this is also I mean this is also alternative syntax, like alternative syntax to the defining the type. So we have the array, so it will be consisting of the its type as a string, so we can define this way also. So I mean, now I want like one more array, so which will be the, I mean, a mix of the strings and the numbers. For example, where I'll consider the mixed array. It will be having like both, I mean, HYD, comma 10, comma Bangalore, comma 1D. So for this, like I just want to define the type. So I can define like this. Like I'll add the parentheses. So inside the parentheses, I can define whether it can be string or number. So it will works. I mean, sorry, I need to provide this square brackets, right? So that's why it is showing the error. So string or number. So we can give, like, if you want to access the, so if you know the like what are all the values you're getting from the, I mean, backend or the, or it's a data structure. So I mean, we can define like whether it can be string or the number. So I mean, this is also one kind of data type in the Typescript. So this is called like union type, union. So so where we can provide the multiple, we can assign the multiple values. So I mean, this we can add this to the I mean, other variables also. Like if you want to simply define the variable, it can be string or number, so we can define to the other variables also, not only array. Let me show you this one, where employee name, or like employee age. So I want this can be string or number, so string or number. So equals to, for example, I will define as 28. So now what I will do is, like, I will assign the string also, employee age. I will update that value with the string employee is equals to 29. So it will accept, because like I have given its type whether it can be string or number. So I mean, this is also one kind of data type in the TS. So we'll be calling this data type as a union. So if you want to add the multiple data types to the variable, so we can use this one. So for example, now I will try to assign other variable like true. So here we can see the error, because like the boolean is not assignable to the either string or the number. So let me print these array values.
Sir, I have a doubt here, sir.
Yeah, tell me that.
Sir, like you told like string, it implies consider string or number. So in that case,
Yeah.
if I console type of this employee is, what it will return? It will consider it as a string or number.
I will consider as a string. Let me show you like that one, like type of employee. Yeah, it's a good question. Type of employee
Because
age.
we have to perform operations on it.
Yeah, we have to perform operations on it. Like we'll see, like, I mean, what will it throw the output. So employee age, and like I'll give console.log cities, console.log numbers, console.log mixed array. Let me compile this. Why it is not printing? Sorry. I have not added the console for this one. Console.log. dot log type of so it is taking the second argument. Okay, it is taking, I mean, it is not, I mean, I thought like it is taking the first argument, but it is taking the second, I mean, latest argument. Or like it can be based on the value, or like for example, if I assign the string, so I think the based on the value it will take the type Kartik. So I mean, I will assign it's as a Kartik. Yeah, so whatever the value we have assigned, right? So based on that value it will take this type. I mean, based on its latest value, you can say. If we have assigned the like both the, I mean, uh, we can assign both the string and I can update this with the number also. So it will takes its I mean, based on the latest value. So even though like we are defining whether it can be string or number, but at the same time we can only do the, I mean, we can only store the one value, right? Whether it can be string or number. So based on the latest value, it is printing. So I mean, we can see the like, I mean, we can access the like 3 different arrays by using the console. So like in the arrays, like we have the different methods, right? Like if you want to add one more element, so we can do by using the push method. So let me add one more city. Like I have the cities, right? So uh, city start push. For example, I'll give the Chennai. So what it will do was like, so it will add the this Chennai, like what the city, it will add the city at the end of the array. So after Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Pune, it will add the at the end of the array. And now like for this city list, no, like I want to add the, or like I just want to remove the last number from this array. So I'll just use the numbers dot pop. So it will remove the array element from the last one. It will print the only these 3 values. And like we have different methods, like for array also, like we have the index of, and we have the shift and splice, and we have join. So we have a lot of methods on arrays. So I'll do one thing, like for now, like we'll see this push and pop. Later, like I will I mean, whenever if I'm going to use the arrays concept, so I will explain the like I mean, different like where exactly this method is going to be useful in the real-time application. So let me save this one and let me run. Yeah, here we can see like so I mean, it is added at the end of the array. So for example, if I just want to add this at the beginning means, so we'll be using the unshift method. Whereas if you want to remove the element from the top means, like we'll be using the shift method. Like if you want to delete the elements from the beginning. And for example, if I want to add the elements in between, so like we'll be using the splice method, splice or slice, like to remove the elements in between and to add the elements. So this is all about the, I mean, array data type. So next, like we'll take the object. Object. So where Karthik, like, do you have idea about like how to access these values? For example, I want to
Yeah,
print this
index by
Bangalore.
index
Yeah, by index.
city
So
list of
let me
one,
show you that example also. For example, console.log.
city list of 1, 2,
Yeah, cities of 1. So
0.
if I give the cities of 1 now, So it will print the output as a Bangalore, because like array index starts with the 0, like 0th value is Hyderabad and Bangalore. So it will, so if you want to access it, we will be accessing by using the its index. So for object, let me create one object. Person equals to uh, name Srinivas. Age 30. So I mean, so what is the difference between the array and object? So arrays are like will be defining defining based on the index values. So arrays like will be using the square brackets to denote the array, and it will be having the, I mean, we can able to access and we can find the array elements by using the index. Whereas object is like so like it will be creating with the curly braces. So objects are nothing but it's a key value pair. So here the key is the name, like for example, a person has some properties, right? So like a name, age, mobile number. So we can consider these are the different properties. So this is, we can consider it as a property. Property is the name, and its value is the Srinivas. I mean, the person name was like Srinivas. So we can consider this name as a key and the Srinivas as a value. So we can consider this as a one key value pair. So if you want to access the, I mean, these names or these the property values, so we'll be using the dot notation or the bracket notation. For example, let me access this one. Uh, console.log person dot name. So let me run this one. Yeah, we can see like I mean we have added the two consoles, right? One is with the index value, and another one which is the object, like we are able to access that particular object. So we can object this way also, like I mean person with the bracket notation also. This way also we can able to access its property, like based on the different scenarios, like we'll be using the both dot and the bracket notation also. So this is the like object data type. So next, like we'll move to the tuple. So this data type is also similar to array. So this is
Sir,
mainly
like
used
I have one
to,
doubt here, sir, in objects.
yeah.
Like how to push one new key value pair to the object, and what is the difference between object and JSON, sir?
So JSON is like it's a JavaScript object notation. So JSON, we can say like JSON is the combine of arrays and the object. So basically, if you want to transfer the data from like backend to UI, and if you want to represent all the values in the screen, means like you can consider like JSON is a one medium. So JSON, and we have the XML also. So JSON will consist like both arrays and objects. So here this
So
object, no, for example, if I want to one more, you told like one more property to it, so I can add uh, person dot mobile equals to some 1 2 3 4. So we can add like this, like we can have one more property. Just give me this one, like type as any. So why I have given was like, no, I don't know, like how many properties are like what are the values I'm going to add. That's why I have given as a any. But in real Angular projects, so whenever if you're going to create the objects, no, so we'll be first defining the one interface for the object, and from the interface, and like we'll be creating the one class, and based on the class, like we'll be creating the objects. This is for like for example purpose, like I have given the any. So whenever if you're doing in the complex projects, no, we'll be dealing the like we'll be defining the all the objects from the classes. So inside the class, like we'll be defining the so what is the what is the each key value pair consists like name whether it plays string or like age whether it is a string or id or the mobile number is a number or age. So we'll be defining all those things in the classes. So we'll see that in the process concepts. Now like I have added one more property called mobile. Let me print this one also. Let me remove this. Just print console.log person. Yeah, here we can see like by default we have defined the object with the two key value pairs. Later like we have added one more thing, like one more property mobile. So this way we can add the values to the object. So for if you want to add the values to the object, so we'll be using the like dot notation or bracket notation. So person dot mobile, and for that this is the key and this is the value. For this I have just assigned the value with the equality operator.
Removing, sir. How
Karthik,
to remove?
removing
Yes,
means
sir.
like we can use the delete uh, person dot age. So we'll be using the delete operator. So let me
Okay, sir.
compile. So here we can see like that age property was removed. So we have only two properties like name and mobile. So next like we'll move to the tuple. So like it is also like it is also similar to array, but like there is a slight difference similar to array. So for example, let me take this way like where employee name string equals to Venkat, and where employee ID number equals to 102. So for example, whenever if you want to define this, for example, I have the only like two to three values which are related to the employee, like employee name, employee ID, or like employee age. So for this, like instead of defining the array, like we can define the tuple type variable. So let me show you how we can define this using the tuple, like where employee. So I'll be defining the its data type, like the first one is the string. String. The second one is the number. I want the one string and one number type equals to Venkat and 102. So this is the basic example for the tuple. So like in the real time scenarios also, like we'll be rarely using this tuple. Sir, like we can sir, I have one question, like we can do the same thing with the arrays also, like by defining the union data type. But the thing was here, no, the basic difference was like we should follow the order, like for example order of the data type. So here I have defined the first value to be the string and second value to be the number. Whereas if you look into the array data type, so I have defined the string or number, right? So it can be random. For example, it can be starts with the like number, and it can be ends with the it can be any order. But in the tuple, so whatever the order like defined in the data type, no, so we should follow that only. So this is the basic difference. So in the similar way, for example, if you want to access it, no, we can access through index only for tuple also, like console.log employee of 0. So like we'll get the, I mean, first index value. So let me take. So let me refresh this one. Yeah, we can see like we got the first value. So I mean we can add. So if we have, for example, we have some like 3 to 4 properties and we just want to define it as array, so we can go with the tuple. For example, I can define boolean and I will provide its value as a true. So I can access this also, like employee of 2. So we can get that value as out. And we can use the like whatever the array methods, right? We can use the push pop also. So this is the like I mean all about the tuple. Next, like we'll go to the another data type called enum. Enum, or like we'll be calling the enumerations. So here like we can see that I mean a last index value was printed here. So next data type was enum. So I mean enums are like mainly used to store the I mean similar kind of the data values. For example, I just want to store the like enum cities. So I'll be defining like I mean HYD. Let me or like I'll take I mean social media. This is like similar. I just want to add the all the social media platforms. Social media. I mean Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Telegram. So we'll be just defining the enum by using the I mean enumerations by using the enum keyword, and next like we'll be providing the name to the particular enum. So next like will be like these are the like I just want to define the similar kind of data values in the enum. So that's why like I have taken it as value as social media. Inside that like I have added the like all the social media platforms. So so here this Facebook like it will takes its initial value as a 1. So let me try to access these values. So it's the first value is 0 and the second value is 1. This one is WhatsApp, it will be consisting as a 3, and this one as a 4. So these things like this enum also like we'll be using the very rare like in Angular projects also. We're not going to use much this enum data type also. We'll go to the I mean undefined variable data type.
Sir, I have one question here, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, like if array concept is there, and when what is the use of e number, enum?
Enum like I mean just want to store the like similar kind of values. Similar kind of values. I mean which is having the very less. I mean we can consider this array with the object. Enum we can consider the array with the object. So I'll show you. I'll take one example and I'll show you Karthik while doing.
Okay,
For
sir.
example, in my real time application. So for example, I have the I mean different buttons. For example, I have the form and where I have like I want to save that particular form. I want to discard some changes or like I want to submit that form. So we can at that scenarios we can define the one enum like enum buttons. I mean form buttons, and for each value, I mean for each buttons, for example, save or like the submit or the discard. So I'll be assigning one value to it. So whenever if I'm switching from the one page to another page, so based on the the button value, I need to hide or I need to I mean disable or I need to add some functionalities. So in that scenario, like we'll be using the enums. Don't worry, like I'll show you while doing the Angular concepts.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And we have discussed about the union already. Like if you want to add the, multiple data types, no? So we'll be using the union. Like we have seen, like if you want to add the multiple data types, like
String or
string
number.
or like the number. So this type will be calling as the union. Next, like we have the any data type also. So we have seen for object, like we have given the any data type, right? So this data type, so if we don't know the what the object structure or what the value we are going to store, no, so at that scenarios, like we are going to use the any. So most of the times, like we'll be providing the uh, data type for the each and every variable. Some scenarios, like if we don't know like what kind of the data we're getting from the backend, so if we don't know the exact the object structure, so at that time we'll be taking the data type as a any. And like we have one more data type called void. uh, so void means like we'll be using this data types for the functions. Like void is nothing but it don't return anything. It will just let me show you one function, like function. So we can consider it as a greet message, already we have written, right? So function greet, so which is not this is not returning the anything. So I will just return like void. It's a type as a void because like it is not returning anything. So I'll show you one function which will return some value. Function get student marks. So I'll give it as a ru return 100. So whenever if you call this function, like I am giving the I am returning the one value called 100. So here I can define its type as a number, because I am returning the value as a number. For example, if I give it assign as a string, what happens? So you can see here we are returning the value as 100, but we are expecting return value should be a string. That's why it is throwing the error. So let me take the number. And for example, I will add console.log function function gets called, and I'll comment this last line. So here I can so I'm not returning any value, so I can define its value as a void. So we are not going to return any value. So these scenarios, we can define its return value as a void. So this is all about the void. And like we told you, right, like we have the one more data type called like undefined.
Sir, here I have one doubt, sir, about void.
Yeah.
Sir, like here, while calling the get student marks colon, you mentioned the number and you added return 100. So I won't mention the return type number, and then I will use return 100. It will by default it will consider the return type as number, or what? It will show error, sir.
I didn't get you, Karthik. I mean, you want me to uncomment this one, return 100?
Yes.
Here you don't define anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It will work, sir.
Yeah, it will work, sir. in this scenario, like if you don't define that, I mean, what will be the, the return value or the output value? So it will take any value. For example, return Srinivas, or like for example, we can give it as, yeah, it will work. Like it doesn't have any issue. Like return true. So let me call this one get student marks. So like we are returning the one value, right? So whenever we are returning the value, so we should store this value to the one variable. For example, var std marks. So here what we are doing was, so we are calling the one function. So after calling the one function, it is returning the one value. For example, it is considered as 100. So if I want to use this 100 value or no, if I want to print this in the screen, that we want to print in the console, first I need to store this return value to the one variable. That's why I have taken var student marks equals to get student marks function. So now I'll say like console.log std marks. So we'll see like what happens. So this console will get the value as 100. Yeah, we can see like we got that value. So for example, if I don't save this one, no? So it we are calling the function, but it is returning some value, but we are not going to store. We are not storing this one, so it will throw the error, like it won't print anything. Is this clear, Karthik?
Yes, sir. It's okay, sir. I understood.
Okay. So next, like we'll go for the undefined. So for example, let like var movie name equals to triple R, and what I will do was like I'll do like console.log movie name. What happens here? So I have defined one variable with the var movie name equals to triple R. I will assign its type as a string. So before that, like I'm trying to access this value, like console.log value movie name. So like what will be the output? Like will you get the triple R, like or like will get the any error? Any idea about any answer for this?
Not defined, sir.
Not defined. Okay. I have defined this var movie name, right? So okay, we'll see. We'll see what will be the output. No. Okay, this console.log. Let me remove this one. See, we didn't get any error, but we got this value as a undefined. So there is the difference between the not defined and the undefined. Not defined means like the variable name itself was not defined, or like it was not declared. Whereas undefined means the variable was uh, defined, but we have not assigned any value to it. So actually here we are trying to access the variable called movie name. Before its definitional assignment. Sir, actually it should throw the error, right? So, but why it is printing the undefined? Because we have one concept called
Variable hosting.
yeah, hoisting in the JavaScript. So what it does was like all the variables and the function definitions, like definitions will be moved to the top of its scope. JavaScript interpreter will consider all the variable definitions will be moved to the top of its scope. So what do you mean by that? So basically now we have written these two lines, right? So but the JavaScript interpreter will treat like this, where movie name string console.log movie name equals to triple R. So in the background or internally, this is how the JavaScript interpreter treats these two lines. So what we are doing was where movie name. So here, if you see only this definition, only this particular, this left side part, like
Initialization.
it was moved to the it's yeah, we can call it as a initialization. So it is moved to the top. So next it will execute the console.log movie name. Next the assignment it will happens the next line. So this is how the interpreter treats the JavaScript code. That's why. So here we have the movie name, but like we don't have the any value for this movie name. That's why like we got output as a undefined. Let me try this same with the let also, like uh, let movie.
So, sir, like if we do the same concept in C compiler or C++ compiler, it will throw error.
Yes.
It works only in the JavaScript this way.
Yeah. So let movie, for example, I'll give some test, and I'll try to access this one. Console.log movie. So I have defined the variable with the let keyword, right? So hoisting will not applicable if you define the variable with the let. So here we can see the error, like so block scoped variable. So let is the block level or like block scope variable. So here you can see block scope variable movie used before its declaration. So hoisting will be like hoisting concept will apply for the only the variables which are defined with the var keyword. So variables and the function definitions. The function definitions will be moved to the like top of its scope. Whereas if you define the variable with let keyword, like it won't work. It will throw the error. Like let me run on this one. So in the interviews, like they will ask like while asking the what's the difference between the let and where. So they will ask like they will expect this is also one scenario. Sorry, I have not
Where
saved the
means we
file.
can access globally, right, sir?
Yeah, we can access globally.
Let means
Let is
inside
like
the scope
yeah,
only it will take the value.
correct. So
Okay.
here so see here we can see like this. Compilation was not happened because of this error. Like we can't access the variable names which declared with the let. So we'll see like not only this difference, like we have a lot of differences between the let and var and the constant. Like we'll see that in the like upcoming sessions. So this is all about the undefined data type. So they will ask in the interviews like what's the difference between the undefined and the not defined. So undefined is like we have defined the one variable and we have not assigned any value to it, but trying to access the its value, like trying to print its value in the console or in the screen. So we'll get output as a undefined. Whereas like not defined was like we have not defined the any variable but trying to access that variable name. So in this scenario, like we'll be getting like not defined or like unpaired reference error. So this is the difference between the undefined and the not defined. So we have one more data type called null. So in the JavaScript, so null is nothing but null is nothing but like there is no value, presence. So like we'll be using the null for the JavaScript objects. So like I'll show you the examples with null in the like upcoming sessions. I have an object and I just want to make the entire object to be empty. So for that, like I can assign its object value as null, so that all the values in the object will get deleted. So null means like there is no value. I mean there is no value, or like you can consider it as it's a false values, like false values. I mean that's all for the today's session. So we have just discussed about the all the data types in the TypeScript, and we have discussed about the variables and the data types, and with the like small examples. So next class now what I'll do is like I'll start the concept called classes and interfaces in the TypeScript. So tomorrow like we'll be discussing about the classes and interfaces.
Sir, like null is, we can't consider it as a 0, sir.
Sorry.
Null is 0. We can't consider it as a 0.
It's not a 0. Like we don't have. We don't. It will consider nothing. A 0 is different again. Like so, for example, if so, we'll be using this null with the objects. For example, if we try to access the type of null, like it will be in the JavaScript, it will treat it as a on object. But like it can consider it as the empty value. There is no value. But 0 is different.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So tomorrow, like we'll discuss about the classes and interfaces.